Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Kios, job coach and agency linkage specialist from Central Valley Charter Schools, and you're listening to your Transition Podcast. Today we're bringing to you a special edition called Wellness Wednesday, where we're going to share some tips to really help you thrive. We have a lot of excitement in the studio today. Blake is here. Say what's up, Blake.
Hey everybody.
All right, and then we're also joined by some of our transition teachers today. Elizabeth Lakey, say hi.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And April Green. April, say what's up.
What's up, everyone? I'm so happy to be here.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is your guys' first time in our studio. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's
Okay,
our
well,
first time.
great, big, hearty welcome to you all, and we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say today. We have a lot to cover, so Blake, would you get us started with a feel-good tip today?
Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. So a feel-good tip today for you, and it's a pretty interesting one, pretty easy, but one you might not think of very often, is to drink a lot of water. It is recommended that you drink 8-ounce glasses of water a day. And this is huge in helping you maximize your physical performance. It affects your brain function and energy levels. It helps with headaches, helps with digestion, and it can even help with weight loss and so much more.
That is so simple yet so profound. I was waiting for some deep secret of the universe, Blake.
Right? No, it's water is really a game changer, and it helps in so many ways we don't realize. And it does so many things that's even like soda or sugary drinks, and it pains me to say it, but even coffee can't do. In fact, I had a friend recently who was feeling exhausted, and their energy levels were super down, and come to find out they just simply weren't drinking enough water. And so long story short, they increased their water intake and their energy levels increased.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Blake. Okay, before we get to some of these other wellness game changers, I want to ask everyone just one question. What is wellness to you?
That's a great question. For me, wellness is an overall feeling of calm and not being stressed out about every little thing. That isn't to say I don't get anxious about things that are coming up, or assignments due, or just upcoming social events. But mostly feeling at peace with life. I have to keep on things like self-care and breathing through it all.
I love that. How about you, April? What's wellness to you?
Wellness to me is caring for your whole self, not just one component. It's important to care for all parts of yourself, including your physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and intellectual. And when all parts of you are in harmony, I feel like that's when you can truly experience calm and joy in your life.
Great points. How about you, Blake? What's wellness to you?
Yeah, wellness to me is definitely kind of an umbrella term, in that it encompasses multiple different aspects of someone's life. Mental and physical wellness are kind of usually what first comes to a lot of people's mind, but kind of like how April mentioned, there's other aspects like your social and spiritual. There's a ton of different other areas as well that are important and just as relevant. And they also all kind of overlap in a lot of different aspects. And I just feel like it's important to keep that in mind when assessing our own state of wellness.
Thanks for sharing, Blake. I think when I think of wellness, I think it's not necessarily the lack of stressors, but the ability to manage them and deal with them and find those healthy ways of coping. What comes to mind is taking a walk when I'm stressed out versus going for the tub of ice cream, right?
Yeah, also that's a really good points. And as good as those tubs of ice creams are, I could put away a pint of Ben and Jerry's, but it's not helping anything. But yeah, no, thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. And I think it's important to remember that wellness might mean something different to different people, as we kind of just saw here. Um, so that said, in the spirit of wellness, today we're going to dig a little deeper, and we're going to go into the topic of school-related stress, and we're going to do that with our transition team. So to start, I'm going to ask Elizabeth to share with you some information about school-related stress.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you, everyone, for your input. School-related stress is a really important topic and relevant to all of us out there, especially our students. Most students do experience significant amounts of stress, and this stress can take a significant toll on health, happiness, and on grades. Oftentimes, teens in high school, they experience significant levels of chronic stress. It is very common for them to feel that their levels of stress generally exceed their ability to cope with that stress effectively. A study showed that roughly 30% report feeling overwhelmed, depressed, or sad because of it.
Wow, 30%. Just want to give a, by the way, to our listeners, if any of you feel this way, I just want to let you know that first off, you're not alone and you are not crazy. You're not the only one who feels this way. And you're not the only one who feels the way that you feel. Elizabeth, what toll does this take on the body? I'd imagine this takes a toll on the body.
Absolutely. Stress can affect health-related behaviors like sleep patterns, diet, and exercise as well, taking a larger toll. There are a lot of common causes of student stress, and April is actually going to share some of those causes of student stress.
Thank you, Elizabeth. One thing to note is that before you can get help, it is important to identify what the stressors or causes are. For students, common causes of stress are schoolwork, homework, extracurricular activities, social challenges, transitions like graduating or moving out, could mean living independently, relationships, and work. Now, by no means is this a comprehensive list, as many of us have different stressors. High school students face the intense competitiveness of taking challenging courses, amassing impressive extracurriculars, studying and acing college placement tests, and deciding important and life-changing plans for the future. At the same time, they have to navigate the social challenges inherent to the high school experience. If college is a part of a teen's plan, once they are accepted, the stress continues as they need to make new friends, handle more challenging workload, be without parental support in many instances, and navigate the stresses that come with more independent living. Romantic relationships always add an extra layer of potential stress. Many students feel a sense of needing to relieve stress, but with all of the activities and responsibilities that fill a student's schedule, it's sometimes difficult to find the time to try new stress relievers to help dissipate that stress. Elizabeth is going to share some relatively easy, quick, and relevant tips to a student's life. They may not always be the fix, but they definitely can help. That said, what do you have for us today?
Thank you so much, April. First off, before I get into the tips, I want to preface them by saying if you feel that you're experiencing a psychological or psychiatric emergency, please take that seriously and call 911. It's important to keep in mind that by no means is this meant to replace professional psychological care. Our school also has a Families in Crisis website with a section that is on mental health. That website will make sure is linked and available for everybody so they can check that out as there are more resources there. Okay, so our tips for stress management for students, I think these are all amazing tips. Number one is to get enough sleep. So don't neglect your sleep schedule. This is easy to do. So don't neglect your sleep schedule. Aim to get at least 8 hours a night, and also take power naps when you might need them. Number two, practice visualization. Using guided imagery to reduce stress is easy and effective. Visualizations can help you calm down, detaching from what's stressing you, and turn off your body's stress response. Number 3, exercise regularly. That's one of my favorites. Number 4 is also a favorite. Take calming breaths. When your body is experiencing a stress response, you're often not thinking as clearly as you could be. A quick way to calm down is to practice breathing exercises. Number 5, practice progressive muscle relaxation. This technique involves tensing and relaxing all muscles until the body is completely relaxed. Number 6, listen to music. Students can harness the benefits of music by playing classical music while studying, playing upbeat music to wake up mentally, or relaxing with the help of the favorite slow melodies. Number 7, get organized. That one's not as fun, but it is really helpful to get organized, and that helps with not feeling so stressed about things that are coming up. And then number 8, eat a healthy diet. We talked about that with the ice cream. And then number 9, use positive thinking and affirmations.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those great tips and those insights, Elizabeth and April. Getting organized is one of those things I'm personally kind of bad about, but you know what? It makes a huge difference. That's one thing that I've recently put into my own life that's really improved a lot. Just, nothing's really quite as satisfying too as like working something off of a checklist, a to-do list. It's like instant serotonin. So I also want to point out though that it is important to be mindful and to share what you're feeling. And so whether that means you're sharing with a friend or a teacher who you trust, sharing with someone who will validate your feelings and not dismiss them, that's huge, feeling heard, not just listened to. Or somebody who can just point you in the right direction towards receiving help or that support that you need. So anyways, does anybody else have any other tips or by the ways that they have before we wrap up today?
I do. I have one thing that I would like to share. I want to just encourage our listeners to take advantage of a lot of the wellness apps that are out there. And I have to admit, I was a little bit in the dark on some of these wellness apps until about 6 months ago. A neighbor moved next door to me, and he works for a company called Headspace. And so Headspace is an app that helps with calming activities. Some of the other apps can help you if you feel like you need to speak to someone, like Ginger. And so these apps are available to people. They're available to anyone if you're maybe looking at doing some type of breathing activity. So always be sure to just use the technology that's available. Again, there's many more apps. The two that come to mind are Headspace and Ginger. Anyone else, before we kind of wrap it up today, anyone have anything that they would just kind of like to add to the discussion, or any by the ways for our audience listeners today?
I think one thing that maybe wasn't mentioned so much is just sometimes when you feel like you've hit that wall or you just aren't sure. I know it really helps me to process things if I just talk about it out loud. So if you don't have someone to talk about it to, just say it out loud to yourself, because just getting it out can really help. And I know that might sound kind of silly, but I have found that just being able to process it and get out whatever is causing me the stress or causing me angst, and just being able to express that really helps me to just kind of decompress and kind of let go of that stress, if that makes sense.
Yeah, great point. Thank you, April. Anyone else have anything they would like to just kind of throw in?
I love that. I feel like the reoccurring theme that kept coming up was just taking the time to stop and breathe, or do an exercise, or go for a walk, or listen to something on an app. Just that, like, stop, when we're really stressed out about something, that we take that time to pause and help calm ourselves down, and it will get better. It always gets better.
I love that. It will get better. Okay, before we say goodbye, actually, I'm not going to say goodbye. I don't like goodbyes. I like see you laters. I want to thank you all for tuning into our Wellness Wednesday podcast. And I especially want to thank our two wonderful Yosemite Monarch teachers for sharing today. Students, listeners, you won't find a more supportive, uplifting, and helpful group of teachers than our Yosemite Monarch teachers. And so double kudos to the both of you. Again, if you feel like you're experiencing a psychological or psychiatric emergency, reach out for help, call 911. Please check out our Families in Crisis webpage, which we'll post in the description. And I just want to thank you all for listening and joining with us today. And we will catch you on the next Transition podcast. Have a wonderful day.